Welcome to our daily Forex market analysis call, and this is in preparation for trading on February the 7th, 2018. Just a quick disclaimer before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. All right, so let's take a look at what we have in store here. So in terms of our numbers here, we had negative trade balance numbers for Canada here, and then New Zealand here. Good numbers that came out here. So that's it for today. So coming up tomorrow, we have a very, very, very important day here. In the London session, not a whole lot. We have Halifax HPI numbers for the British pound, but that's pretty much it. But the US session here, we have FOMC member Dudley speaking. And then very important here, we have a Reserve Bank of New Zealand rate statement. So the numbers came out positive here. So New Zealand and Australia, neither one of them have raised rates. So if the central bank starts talking about any, or they give any indication of even wanting to raise rates or considering raising rates, that could be that could be good for the New Zealand dollar. It could be bullish for New Zealand dollar. So we'll have to pay attention to that. So keep that in mind. We can have or expect volatility in the New Zealand dollar here. And then we have New Zealand press conference, and then Reserve Bank of New Zealand Governor Spencer speaking. So all day, pretty much, I would just stay away from New Zealand once we are kind of close to this one here, because it could create volatility in the market. So that's the big thing. So anytime we have central bank speaking, we have to be extra careful.
BOJ offers to buy 250 billion yen of JGBs with a maturity of 1 year to 3 year, 330 billion.
Sorry about that. We have some news there. Okay, so let's go on to my news feed was going off. Okay, so let's take a look at our charts. Where are we here? In terms of euro, we had a very, very neutral close. Price did try to break lower, but then it pushed back up, and we closed with this very, very neutral candle, pins on both sides. So not a lot of conviction in terms of the market direction. Let's take a look at a 1 hour chart. So we did have, price did push up, and then it dropped, especially in the New York session here. We saw a big drop, then we had a big pin bar, and price moved up. However, overall, the trend is still to the downside. So we could see price come back and test this level here, 1.2400 level once again. But the overall trend is still to the downside. So if we take a look here, this is sort of what we are seeing. Price is holding that trend line, so we could see move like that, and then a drop here. So that would be what I would be looking for. But because we have had a neutral close for the day, it could go either way. So if it stays below 1.2400, I'm looking for a drop. And the type of move I would be looking for, it would be something like this, and looking for price to come and test this bottom once again. So 1.2300 would be the target to the downside. So in this case, the bias is neutral to bearish for euro dollar. Pound dollar here. Pound dollar has had a huge, we saw a big drop. This was the trade that we were in this morning, and it was quite unfortunate because we kind of entered over here, and I had a 20 pip stop. It just nicked us and then just fell like crazy. So the bias was to the downside. I was looking for price to hold below this level, but because usually there are lots of stops right above that kind of level, and prices will do that at times. They will just take out stops, or the brokers will do that, whatever. So they'll take out stops and come back. But so we saw a big drop. The problem is that we saw price move up as well. So all of this drop kind of got filled once again. So here now that gives us a pin. So this gives us a neutral close as well. So with this pound US dollar, my bias would be bearish to neutral here as well. And what I'm looking at is this level here, a 1.3980 level, or maybe even into 1.40 level. So as long as price stays below the 1.40 level, I'm looking for price to drop, and the target would be today's low, which is 1.3830 level. So in terms of the move, let's go here. So in this case, we could see price either push into the high here, something like that, or it could go slightly higher into this R1 level. So this previous support and resistance like that, which is 1.4030, and then drop from there. So the bias is bearish to neutral. And as long as price stays below 140, I'm looking for it to drop further. Aussie here. Aussie is interesting because we do have a bullish candle close for the day. We had a big drop, and now this looks like a bullish pin bar with a big candle close. So this one has this one's a little bit tricky now because we do have Reserve Bank of New Zealand coming up. We don't have Australia coming up just yet. So let's go to our Forex factory once again, and let's take a quick peek at I just want to take a look at what the okay, so I can't find it. So we have to look at the Reserve Bank of Australia. We had Reserve Bank of Australia, not today, it was yesterday, RBA statement here. So today prices have moved back up. So we'll have to look at that. We have New Zealand. Okay, so we'll have to take a look at that. So right now with this one, this is kind of what I'm looking at. So we are at an important support and resistance. So based on the daily candle close, the bias will be to the upside because it is a bullish candle close. So price could go all the way into this 1.7950 level and then drop from there. But if the price stays below this support and resistance level, which is 0.7920 level, then we could see price drop further because overall bias is to the downside. But I would be concerned about this daily close, which is bullish. So those are the two levels I would mark, 79.50 and 79.20. And I'm looking for price to retrace at one of those levels. So go up to one of those levels and then drop. But right now we are seeing price dropping. It's just right into this previous support and resistance area, and that's where it's reacting and looks like it wants to drop from here. So we'll have to see how this goes, but the daily close is bullish, but overall trend is bearish here, so which means we could get pullbacks into those levels. So I would keep that in mind. New Zealand dollar here, we saw the numbers come out positive, and now looks like we are going to fill this inefficient move to the downside. And in terms of our candle close, the daily candle close was quite bearish. We have a nice bearish pin bar. I'm sorry, this was the day before. So yesterday it was a nice bearish pin bar. That did not work. So we had a big move to the upside here. And now, so overall, we are seeing lower highs, right? So this is what we are saying. So we have high, lower high, lower high. So in this case, looks like this will get filled. This inefficiency will get filled. And so if it stays below 73.50, then we could see the move back down into this previous support and resistance area, which is 72.50 level. So that would be what I'd be looking at. So again, with the commodity currencies, looks like we're getting a bit of a pullback here. So we have to be careful with this one. So we could get a pullback, but so the daily candle is very, very bullish. So we could go higher. So keep that in mind. But for now, we are looking for a pullback. And then if prices to move higher, we have to see a break above 73.50 level, and then we'll be looking at the next level, which is 74.40 level, which is this previous support and resistance area. So for now, I'm neutral on this. Dollar CAD here, this is a bearish candle close. I'm looking for price to drop here further. So all the commodity currencies are basically they had a positive closes today. So with this one, dollar CAD, we did have a bearish candle close. I'm looking for price to drop, and the target here would be the bottom of this candle, which is 123.97. So 12400 will be the target to the downside. So with this one, this is where we are. We are at double top here. If price pulls back and stays below pivot, looking for it to drop back into the support resistance area, which is 1.2400. Euro Swiss franc here. So here as well, we have seen a big move to the upside here. However, we do have these two pins on the upside. So the deciding factor would be this support and resistance, which is 1.1636 level. So if the price is not able to break through to the other side, then we are going to see one of these. And that would likely be the best trade to take. So if price goes into test 1.1636 and stays below that level on a smaller time frame, we could look for a potential short from there and looking for price to drop to the downside. But based on the candle close here, we are seeing a bullish candle close, so which means that price could move higher into the top of this range here, which is 1.1636 level, and that will be the deciding factor. Pound Swiss here. Pound Swiss has pulled back, but not as strongly as Euro Swiss. So with this one, the bias is still to the downside. The candle close is bullish to neutral. Bullish because we have a green candle close, but neutral because we have pin on top. So with this one, I'm looking for a similar move. I'm looking for price to go and test that level once again. This one right here, and looking for price to drop from there. So 1.3100. Sorry, excuse me. So 1.3100 is the level that I'm looking for price to push into. So this is the move I'm expecting. Price goes and tests this level once again. If it holds below 1.3100, looking for a short from there. And in that case, the target would be the bottom here, 1.2980. And the next target would be 1.2900. So those will be the two targets. But overall, the bias is to the downside. Dollar Swiss franc, we came back into the high here. So with this one, similar scenario as pound Swiss franc. If the price stays below 0.9400, we are looking for price to drop further because overall the bias is still to the downside, and we could expect that type of a move. So price pushes into 9400 area, and then if it stays below, then looking for price to drop from there. But the daily candle close is bullish, but we have rejection at the top there. Pound yen here, this is interesting. So we have moved off of that. So the trend line that we were watching, price came into that trend line. It has pushed off of that. So we have a bullish candle close here, which means price could go into this next level, which is 153.50 level. So with this one, because we are into an important resistance level here, which is where price had reacted yesterday, we'll have to wait and see how price plays out here. So price did a double bottom at our trend line, but we also had price reject here this morning. So now if the price stays below this level, below 152.80, then the chances are it's going to trickle back down and come test the trend line once again. And this will be around 150 level. So that will be the first case scenario. The second one is because we do have a bullish candle close, it pushes up higher. So the first target in that case will be 153.50 level. But again, because we are at this important support and resistance level, first I'm looking for a reaction at this level and see how price behave. But if it blows through this level and goes higher, then we're looking at 153.50. The daily candle close is bullish though. Euro yen here, euro as well, we had a drop and then price pushed up in the New York session. So this is what it looked like. Price had dropped, pushed back up, dropped, and then pushed back up. So we are into this level here. But generally, and this is something we had talked about, I think yesterday or I think it was yesterday. So when we have such an inefficient move, the the price does get filled. This move does get filled. So that would be a concern if it moves up higher. But for now, because price is holding this level here, which is 135.80 level, as long as it stays below that level, it will, I'm looking for it to drop, because this is an important level where price has reacted several times before, and this was the day's high today as well. So if it stays below 135.80, I'm looking for price to drop further. Aussie yen. Aussie has pushed back quite a bit, and all the yen crosses had this type of a move. And actually, I should mention the yen move was also tied to the sell-off in the stock market. So in the stock market, we saw prices, basically the market fell yesterday, and as a result, we saw when there is uncertainty in the market, the safe haven currencies will benefit as a result. So Swiss franc, Japanese yen, and that's why we saw everything drop against those currencies. All the Japanese yen crosses, Swiss franc crosses dropped because both of those currencies got stronger. But today the market turned around, the stocks turned around, and that's why we saw the move in the opposite direction. So it is tied to the move in safe haven assets. So do keep that in mind. And right now, this is where we are. So we have had a bullish candle close, but we are still overall, the pressure is to the downside. So even in this case, Aussie yen, if the price stays below this 86.70 level, then we are looking for price to drop further. So right now, Japanese yen and Swiss franc, there will be uncertainty related to just the overall stock market. So for now, I'm looking for price to drop still, because overall move is to the downside if it stays below 86.90. But because the daily candle close is bullish like that, I am looking for, if the price goes to the other side of 86.70, then I'm looking for price to go higher into 87.50 level. And then the whole bullishness will continue from there. Dollar yen here, same kind of scenario. We are in this, we have had a bullish candle close, but we are in this range. So right now, in terms of dollar yen, we are, let me just drag it over here. We are into this level here. So this is where the price is sort of holding, and this comes from all the way from right all the way across here. So with this one, if the price stays below this level, which is 109.80 level, then we're likely to see a drop. But if it crosses this level, then I'm looking for price to continue on to the next level, which is 110 point approximately 50, 110.50. But if it stays below 109.80, then we could see the price come back towards the bottom here, 108.50. So right now, all yen crosses are sideways. So we need to be careful trading these, both the Swiss franc and the yen crosses. All right, so that's all I have. Any questions or anything to add? Okay, if not, we will call it a wrap. You guys have a wonderful night, and I will see you in the morning in the London session. So Fritz, I did do, I did a recording and I posted in the YouTube channel, but I think I may have forgotten to do that in our trade room. I don't think I put a link to that. Let me do that. Let me put a link to the challenge in the trade room, but I did put a link to the worksheet downloads. So I will, let me put the links in just now, just after our call. I will drop the links to the challenge in the trade room. Okay, no problem. All right, so we'll call it a wrap. See you guys in the London session. Have a good night.